It's your dude, James, coming back to you with, oh my gosh, is it really a new episode? Where has he been? What has he been doing? The answer is nothing. I've been doing nothing and everything all at the same time. Um, it's not a good excuse. I didn't really have excuse. I just had the mindset of, I'm going to record a new episode. Like next week, I'll record a new episode. And that next week turned into like 14 months, something insane like that. So not much has changed with my organizational skills, as you can probably tell. But yes, this is a new episode. I am going to try a new method where I just don't do quite as long of an episode. I think this episode will be more of like a general recap, what's going on in my life, what I'm currently working on. And then I think I'm going to try and do smaller episodes, maybe where I record different clips throughout the week and then once a week go in and make an episode, or once every other week. Like, let's not get carried away. The dude hasn't been here for a year. Let's not commit to anything insane. For those of you that are new, welcome to my channel. My name is James. I am a multi-craftual person. Yes, I said that terribly. Multi-craftual person. Welcome to the shit show, because it's not going to get better. I can't speak, apparently. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I do lots of different crafts. I try different things. I like to experience new things, do a little bit of traveling every now and then. Primarily, my number one and my OG craft has got to be knitting. That's what I fell in love with first. You can feel free to watch some old episodes and learn more about that. Basically, I started knitting right before the pandemic, and it was just very light, straight needles, yarn I could find at Joann's, at Walmart. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but very light into the crafting world. And then the pandemic happened, and I was by myself a lot, and so I really dove into the crafting, and met a wonderful community. There's so many great people I enjoy meeting with and seeing on a regular basis. Made some lifelong friends that literally live in different countries across this country. It's wonderful. So I enjoy that. I do this as a hobby. None of this is a business. It's more of about community and connecting with different folks, and doing something I really love and enjoy. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking to kind of see what's going on in my life, or maybe just different ideas, welcome, stay, grab a cup. I would have a drink, but I have nothing. So I'm going to drink some water is what I'm going to drink in my, of course, huge water bottle. You can't have a normal cup. Let's not get crazy here. I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're going to dive right into, kind of what's been going on. I'm not going to give a full recap. It's too long. Too much has happened. So, I'm going to try in the next couple episodes incorporate some new different yarns I've gotten, or different projects that I've completed that I maybe haven't shown on YouTube in the past. And then we'll just kind of kick it off and go from there. And I'm sure there's some stuff that I'll never get to and some stuff that I will. But we will go from there. I don't know if there's any other updates. I think I've had 2 birthdays since the last time I recorded an episode. My family is amazing. I now have a total of 5 nieces and nephews, multiple godchildren. I feel very blessed to have the family that I have. So they're all doing well, different challenges, different things that have come up. But yeah, they're doing well. I'm loving my life. I'm loving my job. For those of you that were around, I have transitioned. I originally went to school and got a couple degrees to work in higher education. I have changed career paths, and now I work more for a different area, for a different avenue, much more in the project management type of field. So that's where I spend most of my time, and I love it. I love the people I work with. I love the change. And it's amazing to me some of the skills that I still get to use that I learned in my old roles that can apply to the new ones. Conflict resolution, communication, time management, organization skills, critical thinking. Those are things that I never thought I would apply them in the same way in a different field. But I did, and it's wonderful. And my stress level is so much lower than it was before. I do miss some of the people that I worked with at the university here in Green Bay, but quite a few of them have also either went to different universities or pursued different opportunities, and so life moves on for all of us. Life moves on. But yeah, I'm doing good, and we're going to dive into the crafting. We'll start with what I'm wearing, and so I don't tend to wear a lot of shawls in public or anything like that. Not that I have an issue with those at all, but I wear them a lot at home. I work from home now, and I wear them, and it's just mostly for like my upper arms to keep them nice and warm, and they feel so cozy, and I just love it. So this is one of my favorites that I don't think we've seen. This is the Pagona by Stephen West, and so I don't remember when I finished this, if I'm going to be honest. It's just, I don't think I've shown it on the podcast in the past, but I do love the pattern. And I think he came out with a revised pattern. The original was, I think, maybe one skein. And this I did as his updated larger shawl offering with 2 skeins. And so the top right here, I don't know if you can see the sections. I'm probably not holding this up well. Welcome to the podcast. There's these large sections here. I think the original pattern calls for you to make 5 of them. And then he always says, as Stephen does, you can always add more repeats. You can change it up however you want. So the more sections you add, the longer it gets, but the more narrow it is. So if you stick to the 5, you're going to have more depth in your shawl, and if you keep adding more, you're going to lose that depth, but it'll increase lengthwise. And so I added 2, and I do love the size of it. I wish it could be a little bit larger, so I think I would have liked a 4 or a 5 skein shawl. This was 3 skeins, and the amazing part to me is how I kind of picked some of these colors. So it started right here in the middle, right where this finger is. This was La Bien Aimé's Grello. That's what I started with. And I don't know the name of the other 2 skeins that I use because I'm not that good with Ravelry, if I'm going to be honest, which I am. But the next skein incorporated some of the blues and the golds from the Grello. So I'm going to hold it up real close. It incorporated some of those together. And the last skein was just the pure turquoise there at the bottom. And so you had these nice rows where you kind of integrated both colors. You can really see that at the bottom. And I just loved it. It was such an amazing knit to do. It was very simple, a simple pattern by Stephen West, which can be a little rare. But I highly recommend, if you haven't done a Pagona, it's wonderful. And because he has these wide, I don't even know what to call them, these wide sections in the middle. Maybe I can show you a side one because they're a little smaller. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. See where it goes from the garter stitch to the stockinette stitch. Travel my finger. This is garter. And you can see right here it goes to the stockinette. That's one of the sections. So because you have all these sections, you don't do an entire complete purl row. So if you're someone that doesn't like to purl, you don't have a really long purl section. And you also don't really have a really long knit section either. So it breaks it up nicely, but it's not so complicated that you can't do it while you're Zooming with friends or watching a TV show. So this is what I call potato chip knitting. Very easy. It's a little bit more involved than just like, I know I do a lot of Musselbergs when I watch usually YouTube because I don't actually watch TV, but I do a lot of those. So this would be a really good option, and I just love it. It's probably one of my favorite shawls I've ever done, and it's very simple. If I could go back and do it again, I would absolutely add 1 to 2 more skeins, and I might play around with the colors because maybe I would have added 1 more skein of the turquoise just to give that section a longer look. Because there's so many stitches, I use the full skein just like I did with the other ones, but it looks like such a smaller section because there's so many more stitches. So it's a good opportunity to maybe use 2 skeins of the same color, and the rest of them maybe you have different skeins. Just options. Wonderful knit, highly, highly recommend. It fits perfectly on my shoulders. Um, this is one of my favorite t-shirts. It just says The Knitter. And I get lots of comments when I'm out in public wearing this. So, yep, one of my favorite shawls just to wear here. And I love it. So this is one of my finished objects. I have another shawl that I have as a finished object. And so I did not participate this year in Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along. I have several other years, and I always say it, and it's so true this year. I said, you know what, watch, I'm not going to do the Mystery Knit Along, and I'm going to love it, and I'm going to be so jealous. And that's exactly what happened. I'm so jealous. I love the way it looks. It's definitely on my list to knit in the future. Not sure when, not anytime soon, but I love the way they look. I don't particularly like Steven's color choices. They don't match me. I think they work great for him. Fabulous on him. But they're not usually my colors. And so, but I just love his design. I love the way the texture looks. I thought his construction was so interesting. Yeah, I love everything about it. And so definitely a shawl that I want to do in the future. But I picked up last year's Mystery Knit Along, and I ended up finishing that because I paused last year when I got to the very last section when you're doing the dip 5 stitches. So this is the Geo Gradient that I'm going to hold up. And I'm not going to talk extensively. I know there was lots of drama about the Geo Gradient, and I'm not going to get into that, whatever your viewpoint is. I don't really want to discuss that. I do want to discuss how much I love my shawl. And so this is the Geo Gradient shawl by Stephen West. I just love the way this looks. I just love it. Those are the dip 5 stitches that form the border. And these are my colors. I love that golden color combined with the grays and the blacks. And that's the way it goes. So obviously there was the drama about the center section here. And I loved seeing, the one thing I will say about that is I love seeing how people reacted and what they did. That to me was amazing. There was so much creativity. There was so much just genius in the way people handled this. What I did is kind of almost unintentionally, but I was just playing with it. I made a little sailboat in my center. So if you can see that sailboat, or some people say the number 4, I love the way that looks. Yeah, and so that's what I did with my center. Just try to play around with it, change up the design, and move on from there. So absolutely I did this, and I do like this shawl. I love the way it looks. If I had a complaint, it would be that it's not quite as large as I would like it to be. And I could have continued adding the dip 5 rows. I did not want to do that, and I kind of just wanted to be done. And then I thought I would torture it. I'd block it out to get a larger size. And it didn't give me quite as large as I wanted. It's still fairly large. I put it on. How many shawls can you wear at once? I love the way it looks on. But I would have liked it to be a little bit bigger, which I should remember. I should tell myself that I should continue adding on when he gives you the option, because it's just my fault. It's nobody else's. But I always get to that point in the shawl where I'm just like, I want it to be done. I want to do something else. I want to do something new. And it's completely my fault. But I am happy that it's done. I'm happy with the design. I love the way it looks. I love my yarn colors. They're so me. I can't tell you what this is for a couple reasons. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the shop. This is a gradient kit that I got when I was in Knit City, Montreal. So I did go to Knit City, Montreal, if you didn't know that. It was wonderful. I had a great time. Picked up this great kit from a French shop. I can't pronounce the name. And I really, really enjoyed working with it. It was great yarn, fingering weight, wonderful colors. Loved everything about it. So it is my second shawl. So I'm loving it. It's so good. And definitely one of my goals for this year was to finish the shawl. yeah, and it is done. It is done. Let's see. So those are some works that I finished. Those are some FOs, finished objects. I have a few more to show. I have been doing a lot of what my friends affectionately call obligation crafting. And so I have been making dishcloths. Yes. So for Christmas, my family celebrates Christmas. I'm going to be making sets of 4 for each family unit. And so this is a crocheted dishcloth made from 100% cotton. I really like the sugars and cream or the peaches and cream cotton. I'm not a huge fan of like Hobby Lobby's I Love This cotton or Joann's Big Twist cotton. Just not a fan. I like the really sturdy cotton. That's the fabric that I enjoy. And if you want to know what pattern this is, my one and probably only tutorial video is also on my channel, so you can check that out. It's basically 2 rows of single crochet, 1 row of double, and then you do that 8 times. You end it with 2 more rows of single, and then you do a single stitch border around twice. That's basically it. If you want more specifics, you can check out that video, but these are my favorites. So I am doing these for each family unit at the 2 Christmases I'm going to go to, and so I'll end up needing to do 24 of them. So I think here's like 18, so I'm just going to go a little fast so you can see what they look like. I need to use my left hand. That's why I have the screen set up this way. I love these where you can use scraps as the border. I think I need like 10 grams to do a border, something like that. And then you can use all your scraps up in the center. It doesn't make any difference. Like, it's still a great washcloth. And I think they look really cool when you do that. And I just use every little bit of cotton. One of my friends, Carolyn, Carolyn was getting rid of some of her cotton and she had a big bag of it. I'm like, I'll take it, you know, absolutely. And so then I started using it. And I ended up with all these dishcloths. And actually I used the whole bag. And I came back and showed people, and like, use that whole bag of cotton up. I'm like, yeah, it's not too hard to do. It just eats up the yarn. And these are my favorite dishcloths. And they're what my family really likes. So if they're going to use it and enjoy it, I'm absolutely going to make them for folks. And I know they like it. And why spend time on like scarves or hats if they really enjoy the dishcloths? So I'll do those other things for me. So yeah, that's just a few of mine. That was my parade of dishcloths. I have like 6 more I have to make or something like that. So no rush. I've gotten a huge head start before I need to have those done. Yeah, so that's something. And then I can't show you some of my other FOs because I've already sent them out. I'm in 2 different activities this year, which are very fun. And I encourage you all to do things like this if you haven't heard. One of them, which I'm going to show, is I am part of a, I don't know the official name. I'm not sure it's through their shop or not. So one of the shops that I really enjoy that I'm not near, because there's no shops really super close to me anymore. I have to drive half an hour, 45 minutes to get to any close yarn shop since they shut down the Green Bay one, which was not their choice. Don't even get me started on that car wash. I refuse to visit it. But they are a wonderful shop that I enjoy. I encourage you, if you haven't watched them on YouTube or gone to some of their Zoom knitting events, it's around the table yarn. Love it. I love them. There's some wonderful people there. And I occasionally catch a Zoom, although I'm bad about getting to my own Zooms. So not all the time I'm there, but there's a group of people that I met through that. And I'm not sure if this group is officially associated with that yarn shop or if it's not. So if it is, that's amazing. They're great. If it's not, the store is still amazing. They're still great. But yeah, so I'm just going to throw that out there. The birthday group is a group of people that got together and we said this year we're going to make a birthday square for everybody that's in the group. And what happens is on their birthday month, you are supposed to knit a 12 by 12 square out of fingering weight yarn. And so I knit usually a little bit less, and then I block it out to be exactly 12 by 12, 12 inches by 12 inches. And then you mail it to them by the end of their birthday month. So on their birthday month, everyone gets basically all the squares you would need to make a blanket. You just have to put it together, which I thought was such a cool idea. I really enjoyed doing it. And so I'm actually nearing the end of that. I only have 4 more squares to do, and then the year is done. And so I'll show you some of the squares that I received for my birthday. Ooh, that one's sparkly. So yes, these are wonderful. And unfortunately, I did not write down the names for which square which person gave me. I just said I liked blues because I do like blues. And you can do knit, you can do crocheted squares. Doesn't that look pretty? So pretty. I love the way these look because they look so good. You can do knit and crochet. Yeah, I love the way these look. And I have not put the blanket together yet. But I'll be super close when I'm ready to do that. I might make a couple of my own squares to add to it because I like super long blankets, and I'm almost 6 foot. I'm 5'11" and a quarter. Come on, Doc, you can't give me the extra 3/4 of an inch. No, you can't be 6 foot. Not that I've complained about that for the last 20 years since I was 15. I like that one too. I like the way these look. So yes, these are just some of my squares. I don't have them all because I don't have them all here because you get them at different times, but that's just to give you a sampling. Love that idea. It's great. A few people have asked, would you do this again if you got the chance? And I think that I would need to modify how we do it. So if you're thinking about doing this, it's wonderful. It's great. Highly recommend. And I like the fabric of a fingering weight blanket. I've never made a fingering weight blanket, so this will be my first, which is awesome. But what you need to understand is that a 12 by 12 square made of fingering weight yarn takes longer than I thought it would. I honestly did not expect the amount of time that it takes to make a 12 by 12 square out of fingering weight, which is really special because when I have the blanket, I'll know that each of these people spent that time to make that square, and it's gonna be wonderful to wrap up in that. But it does take some significant time, and so if I did it again, I would suggest using a larger weight so it goes a little bit faster. So I like a worsted weight blanket, or even a DK blanket or whatever. So I would do maybe a higher weight, and then I think I would just spread it out so that it's a little more time-wise even, because some months had more birthdays than others. And so, yeah, if I was going to do it again, that's maybe what I would do, is I would do larger weight and then just spread a little differently. But I don't think I'm going to do another one for next year. I'm already on a different group, so I'm doing a round robin with some cross stitch. So I have started to cross stitch. So I'm doing that for some of this next year, and that's what I think I'm going to keep it at for now. But it's such a good idea. If you haven't done something like that, highly recommend. Talk to other people. If you don't know other people, there's so many great Zooms you can go to and get to know folks and, see if anybody might be interested. I primarily go to, like I said, Around the Table does some great Zooms. Check out their website, aroundthetable.com. Or is it Around the Table Yarns? It's one of the two. If you Google it, you'll be fine. I don't work for them. I'm not affiliated. I'm just a big fan. I love the people there. So yeah, check them out. They have some great Zooms. If you watch PJ Knits, Penny's amazing. She's such a good human being. She does a Saturday night Zoom. Wonderful community there. I host a Tuesday Zoom. And there's so many others that do some of those things. So even if you don't have a close-knit, in-person, built-in community, excuse me, there is community out there. There are places and people, and you can always start one too. That's how I got some of my, I do some Sunday morning coffee knitting. I did that and I just kind of talked to people, and then it kind of grew and grew. And it's one of my favorite things to do every Sunday morning. I go to our local coffee shop and um, drink coffee and knit with friends, or crochet or cross stitch or whatever craft you're into. We had someone doing glass cutting, so she took a class and she went from knitting and crocheting to doing stained glass. I'm like, so cool! Like the things she put together that she made, phenomenal, just phenomenal. And so just some options there. That's all I'm going to show as far as finished objects. But I did say that one of the things I'm doing this year is cross stitch, so I will show some works in progress. So this is a lovely bag one of my friends made me. Isn't it cool? I love it. All my cross stitch items come in here, and they stay nice together in one spot, and I don't lose them in the hubbub that is yarn and fiber and other things that is my apartment. So I will show this. This is not counted cross stitch. This is my first cross stitch project, which is ambitious, as one does. And this is a pre-stamped kit. And so you can find pre-stamped cross stitch kits where they will stamp your fabric, and then you don't need to count the stitches. And so this is what it looks like. So it looks a little bit like an old school paper map that you would see, but you get in real close and they're all stamped with different colors. But on it, there's a key that tells you, okay, this symbol is equal to this number DMC. So it'll tell you how to do it. And I've mostly been working on the bottom. So if you're familiar with Pokemon, this is Eevee, and it will be all the evolutions that'll be part of this. So it came with all the DMCs already separated out for you, with all the different numbers that go along with the key. And then you can see this is what it will look like when it's done. So that's what it's going to be, in 3 or 4 years, whenever I'm finished with it. But that's what it will look like. And I don't think they purposely stamp it so that the stamp is a contrast color to what the DMC is going to be. So that's why you can't really tell just from looking at this what it's going to be. You can tell because I've already done it down here. And then when you're completely done, all you have to do is soak it in a little bit of warm water for an hour or two, and everything that was pre-stamped washes away, and all you're left with is your DMC. So for somebody that's new to cross stitch, like me, did I say that right? It's probably not even right. It was perfect because you don't need to count. You don't need to use an app. You can just get started. And so this did get me started. And then I felt confident enough to go on to a counted cross stitch, which I've done. And that's part of the round robin that we're doing. And I don't have a picture of that because I actually physically mailed my own round robin to the next person. And then every person's going to do a little motif. And then they'll send it to the next person, they'll do the motif. And so when I get it back, it's going to have everybody that used their own different DMCs. They can pick their own motifs, and it'll come back, and it'll be really cool to have a project that, a lot of my friends have worked on. So I think that's cool. Another great community type of project to do. So I pick this up every once in a while. I haven't picked it up lately. Just because I've been doing a lot of obligation knitting. I've been working on other things. This was great in the summer because I could work on this when it was hot, and the DMC doesn't feel like, a blanket that's sitting on your lap when you're knitting or crocheting it. So this was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed it. It's 14 count for those of you that are in the cross stitch community. It's 14 count on Ada. I really like the cloth. It's very stiff, which I appreciate because then it doesn't just puddle in my hands. So that's what I've been working on. I just mailed it out the other day. I ended up doing a stocking for one of my high school friends. I don't know if I'll be able to put a picture in here or not, but it's a Christmas stocking that has a motif of Rudolph on the front part of it. It has her child's name at the top, and then it's a Christmas stocking. And so her grandma or her great-grandma used to do them all for the grandkids, great-grandkids. And unfortunately she did pass away. And so my friend came to me and said, I don't know anybody that knits. Can you either recommend someone or would you be able to help me with this? She had her grandma's like paper pattern, including her grandma had taken graph paper and literally created her own chart of how to chart the great grandchild's name on the stocking. And so she was able to give that to me. And it took a few times. You should not doubt grandma. Sometimes I have undue confidence and I'm like, Grandma, why did you do this? I can do this in the round. I don't need to do this flat. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Grandma was right. So I had to rip back the project a couple times. I ended up finishing it, was able to get that sent off, and I wanted to get it to her before November. I don't know when she was going to start putting up for Christmas decorations and stuff. So that was something that I had finished. That's the first time I had done duplicate stitch, which worked really well with the Rudolph motif on the front of the Christmas stocking. So that's something that I don't have with me. Maybe I'll figure out how to put a picture in here. Probably not, because I want to get this episode out and I don't want editing to be my excuse for not getting it out. So yeah, that's a lot of what I've been working on. And then I wanted to do something just for me, because I've been doing a lot of obligation knitting, getting ready for Christmas, some of those items. And so I picked up a packet that I had in my yarn stash. One of the things, excuse me, I'll try to do is maybe a little episode on the New Jersey Wool Walk, because I had done that in 2024 back in April. So I had gone to the New Jersey Wool Walk and I had picked up a kit in one of the yarn shops for this hat. So I am working on the Shift Along by Andrea Mowry. Here's a little picture in color even. So yes, the Shift Along by Andrea Mowry. Don't look in the description for show notes. There's not going to be any. I'm not going to do that. You can just go look her up and then find it if you can't find it in Ravelry. I think it's all one word, but I could be wrong. So I picked up this kit, and it had a skein of Malabrigo Caprino. Oh my gosh, this is so messed up. Caprino, and it's backwards for y'all probably, or not, I don't know. In the colorway 363 Pascal. And so that is a DK yarn. It's 50 grams, super fine merino cashmere, so 80-20 merino cashmere. And it is this lovely, I don't know, like a light teal color almost. Like a pale green solid color. And it pairs with Kremke Soul Wool, and I think it's called, or the base is In the Mood Surprise. One of those is the base and one of those is the color. And I had 2 cakes of this. They're each 50 grams, 125 meters. I'll put this up. Feel free to pause and use a mirror if you need to see the right way it goes. Feel free. And I love these colors. So this is the colors of the Kremke. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to need to actually rip back. Hold the applause. I know some of those are like, what? Is he okay? I don't like to rip back, in case you didn't know. But looking at the yardage of each of those that I got in the kit, the hat should be, for a main color, be that solid light green I showed at first, the Pascal color, and then the other 2 skeins I think should be the contrast color that kind of fade into the hat. So it would have been the blue in Andrea's and then the other colors for in between. The yardage didn't quite work out that way, so I ended up reversing the colors, and I used that shifting blue as the main color and that light green as the background, and it's not working the way it needs to, and I'll show you a really good example. So this is what I have so far, and you just lose it. You lose it all in the center. So what I think I'm going to do, and my friend Lisa suggested this excellent suggestion at Coffee Knitting this morning. I think I'm going to rip down to the brim, rip down to here, and then I'm going to switch the colors, and I'm going to do the light green as the main color, and like the blues as the background color. And because I'm not switching the blues, which I did as my brim here, that might help with some of the yardage. So I'm gonna have to go back and do that. And I actually probably will, because I really like the way these colors look, and I want it to look like it does in the pattern. So I will do that. But because I got impatient, no one is surprised. Um, I actually ended up going to Joann's and getting some new yarn because I really wanted to check out some of their new yarns. And I actually started another shift along in some different yarns. And so this is the new one. And you can kind of see the browns are the main color. And the floofy alpaca, which is Cloud Paca by KNC, is the pattern. You can see it so much better here than you could with the other colors I have. So this is wonderful. Here's the two strains of yarn so you can kind of see what they look like. There's a close-up, and you can really see it much better there. It's getting a little washed out. It looks a little bright in the video. I love the way it looks. Here's the two yarns that I'm using. So both of these are, oh, that's a bit of flower. Don't mind that. Dried flower. Flowers from Gerald, the geranium. That's my plant. Here they are. These are both KC's yarns, so K and C from Joann's, which I've never tried before. So I have the labels here somewhere. So the brown one is K&C Superwash Wool Luxe, which I really enjoy. 100% Superwash Merino, Superwash Fine Merino. It's 215 yards for 100 grams. So again, pause, use a mirror if you need to. This is the KC yarn from Joann. It feels like a single. It doesn't need, it's not plied really at all. So it is a little splitty, but for 100% wool, you can't beat the price that I got, because I got both of these skeins. And the second one was K&C Cloud Paca, which is 28% polyamide, 15% merino, and 58% baby alpaca. 58% baby alpaca. This was 50 grams. Much more floofy. Very floofy. I think it's one of those chain yarns that has the alpaca blown into it. And it feels so good. I got both of these skeins combined for a total of $12. For this quality of fiber, I think that's excellent. Originally, I think it would have been closer to $22, but K&C was 25% off. Then I got to use my coupons on top of that. And so I got it for $12, which is, I think almost 50% off. I don't math. Don't look at me. But I'm loving this. I'm almost at the point to do the decreases. It's so incredibly warm. Really enjoy working on it. And I just wanted a project for me. So I have this that I'm currently working on. Yes, so that's what I've got. That's what is on my needles, my hook, or on my Ada. So that's what I've got. It's been good catching up, seeing you all. I'm sure more will be in the works. I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling. I'm going to a knitting retreat in the first or second, I think it's the first technically weekend in December. Really looking forward to that. Looking forward to, getting to do, I think, less obligation knitting. I enjoy the things I've done, but I'm really looking forward to getting back into doing some sweaters, doing some other projects, picking up a blanket that I started last year because now that it's getting colder here in Wisconsin. Looking forward to all of that and keeping you guys in the loop with what is going on with my life, with my knitting and crafting and all that good stuff. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm not looking to do any knit-alongs or any of that coming up, but you guys are welcome to suggest some if you want. You're welcome to pop into my Tuesday night Zoom. Information is down below. It's every Tuesday at 6:30 Central. I may or may not be there right away. You can still get in the room. The password and stuff is down below that you'll need. There's some great group of ladies that go there every week. They're wonderful human beings. They fill my cup every week with joy and happiness, and of course, a little bit of sass. I don't know who that could be, but we tend to have a good time. So feel free to stop by. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next episode, and I hope you have a good upcoming week. Bye, y'all.